My Destined 1, Tensura x Arifureta by Void Kane. Ch 81. Awakening 2. After they step into the magic circle, their visions once again got covered by a blinding light. The place where they found themselves are a place like the Great Orcus Labyrinth. Hajime and Rimuru glance at their party members to make sure that nothing happened during the teleportation. Looks like they're fine, Rimuru said. Y'all, let's get moving. Hajime ordered the heroes' party to move forward. When Rimuru looked back over his shoulder, he saw Kuki and Suzu's gloomy expressions. He didn't know what kind of dream they have, but he can guess it more or less. He could guess what Suzu see in her dream. Rimuru was sure that she dreamed about her best friend that betrayed them and was now in jail back in the Highlight Kingdom. What concerned Rimuru was Kuki. What did Kuki see in his dream? No matter what he saw, it shocked him after coming back from the dream. Rimuru wanted to speak up, but before he can, Hajime was the first to ask. Amanogawa, Taniguchi. Can you two still continue? Hajime asked. Nah, oh of course. Oh of course. The two were pierced by Hajime's sharp gaze. Their stuttering voices sounded out in despair. Even Ryotaro, their comrades, raised their eyebrows. However, Hajime continued before Ryotaro could say anything. This place is the Great Labyrinth. Just a step forward, or a moment passes, and death is lurking for us everywhere. If you can't concentrate, it would be better to give up now. You're just wasting your life, Hajime said. Wait, Kuki wanted to spout his excuse, but before he could. So what's your excuse now? The fact that you guys failed the previous challenge doesn't change. For now, it takes at least the will to overcome it. Now, maybe you guys can't see it. Your lack of resilience is becoming a burden on us. Only Shizuku-chan was the only one who managed to clear her trials. It was Rimuru who spoke and said those words which hit the mark, since the three are becoming a burden to the whole party, and their lack of concentration only results in them slowing down. You guys want, I'll send you back to the Highlight Kingdom. I can open a gate for you guys to go to, like when Hajime send the princess back to the kingdom, Rimuru said. Silence enveloped the surroundings. Kuki looked like he was suppressing his anger by gritting his teeth. However, it wasn't because of Rimuru's words. Instead, Kuki was angry at himself. Even though he was demoralized by the distraction, he felt safe because of Rimuru and Hajime's group. He realized the fact that he unconsciously relied on them too much. However, even if he was venting his anger right now, there was a need for an answer to his total reliance on Hajime and Rimuru. Kuki took several deep breaths and let go of the gloomy emotions in his chest, breathing in the fresh air. Nagumo, Rimuru, it's okay, I'll continue. The two brothers nodded with relief and turned their gaze to Suzu. Suzu immediately jumped up at the same time. She showed a determined expression and started looking at Hajime and Rimuru in the eyes. Suzu will continue too, Suzu said with enough motivation. The two brothers only nodded. Suzu was surprisingly motivated by the girls, and she managed to regain her spirit. The group entered and aimed directly at the great tree. The surroundings were silent. The usual chirping insects could not be heard at this time. Since there was no wind blowing, the rustling of leaves was not heard. The sound of the group parting the large branches of a tree passing by was quite noisy. This feels like the Orcus Labyrinth, Rimuru said. I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable, Yu said, since she hates the time when she was locked up in the Great Orcus Labyrinth. There's no sign of any magic beast, Yu said. Suddenly they felt droplets of water drip through their skin. Rain? It's true, it's falling drop by drop. Kuki and Suzu said as they look at each other. Nope, it's not a rain, Rimuru said as he immediately activate Ural's barrier and surround everyone. Rimuru-kun, look. After carefully observing the surrounding situation, Shizuku called out to Rimuru in an urgent voice. According to her gaze, the trees, the grass, and the earth were all covered with a milky white substance. Slime? Rimuru was surprised. Dame slime? Hajime said. Hajime, on our feet, Yu said, and Hajime looked there. He saw that the slime were also on the ground. Shit, die, Hajime said as he fired Donner towards the slime. Why do I feel bad for this slime? Rimuru thought to himself, because he is also once a slime. The group fight the slimes for a few hours and the girls were now covered in white gooey liquid. Pick here equals. I'm so dirty now, Kaori said. HY says we can keep moving if you all look like that, Hajime said with a noticeable blush on his face. "Yeah, anyways here," Rimuru said, and he pulls out a house from his storage. Everyone who see it was immediately got surprised. Their face was asking the questions like, "Where the hell did he pull that out?" or "How the hell did he do that?" is what on their mind. "I thought I wouldn't be able to be surprised anymore, but," Hajime was saying those words while still amazed. His inner scientist had gone on and wanted to know how the hell was a house able to fit on the dimensional storage. "I'll tell you about it later," Rimuru said. "You better be," Hajime replied. "Come now everyone, let's take a bath inside," Rimuru said as he gestures for everyone to enter. When they enter, everyone was amazed since it was a full-blown two-story house complete with all kinds of furniture, and there was even food and television. The house was actually stored in his imagery space separated from his storage, and Rimuru and Seal uses the house whenever the two entered Rimuru's imaginary space. The bath was on the second floor, Rimuru said, and the girl went up to take the bath while the boys waited for their turns. Hajime really wanted to know about the house, but he held himself back and he made sure to ask about it once they finished the labyrinth. After the group finished resting and cleaning theirself, everyone started to move. The boys were fine, but the girls were all red. Why, you may ask? It's because the slime that they fought enhanced their lustful desire to have the man they loved. Rimuru and Hajime had trouble dealing with their respective harem. "Why are you guys still red?" Rimuru asked. "Well, it's..." Akame wanted to say something but decided to stop. In a corner, one girl was enjoying what happened since she was responsible for the girls getting affected by the slime, and Rimuru noticed the girl and speak. "Seal, you did something right," Rimuru said. Seal didn't answer and only give Rimuru a smile. Sigh. "Anyways, let's continue. We have to conquer this labyrinth as fast as possible," Rimuru said, and they all nodded. While the girls are still red, Suzu was just quiet, but she was having a perverted thought in her mind. One of the challenges they face after they started to move again was their feeling for each other. The challenge was that their love for each other was turned to hate. Hajime and his girls was the one that was most affected by this challenge. The same goes for Kuki and Ryotaro. After they overcome that challenge, they once again find a place where there were tons of cockroaches. In addition, there was a very big cockroach that was with the Have, and it was the boss. Hajime, Rimuru and the others fought it, and once they defeated it, they move on. When they reached the end of the fifth passage, they entered a cave shaped like a room. Hajime took a stance, and right after that the magic circle flashed and they were teleported again. After the light faded, they found themselves standing in a garden, spread out before their eyes. The sky felt almost overhead, the air looks good, and the ground spread out to the size of a high school gymnasium. Beautiful geysers were flowing with choro choro, many small trees rising here and there, and a small white structure. And in the distance was an island surrounded by geysers. A great tree in the middle of it, and interspersed with its branches was a slab of lithograph. Rimuru entered the garden followed by everyone. "This might be the top of the tree," Rimuru said while looking around. "You're right," Hajime said. "We're so high," Sakura said as she looked down from the corner of the garden. Everyone also looked down from the corner of the garden after hearing Sakura's words. And what they saw was a sea of clouds, and unmistakably, thick fog was blocking their view. "Oi, this is strange. There is no tree this big when we fly over the sea of trees with the airship. Even to get through the dense fog, the height of this garden must be at least 200 meters. I can't miss a tree this big." Hajime noticed the strangeness of his statement after he finished speaking. First of all, it is normal that the top of a great tree with its overwhelming size when viewed from the ground alone can rise to the sky through the dense fog that is covering the sea of forests. Hajime was wondering why he didn't see this giant tree while he was in thought. Someone answers his questions. "It's because of magic," Rimuru said. "So there's a magic that can hide this big-ass tree," Hajime said. "There is black magic? Soul? No, maybe space magic that can alternate the space around the object," Rimuru said. "If it's black magic, a coercive perception must be formed, but its scope is too broad. If it's soul magic, they must be aware of the changes when the magic interacts with their souls. However, they didn't feel anything abnormal, so that leaves one type of magic, and it was space magic, a magic that can alternate or bend space itself." Hajime and the others had a surprised look. Even though they had passed dozens of trials and tried to keep their discomfort to a minimum, liberators were still liberators. After they got back to their sense, they started to move again. The group passed by beautifully carved structures and entered the round, 10-yen coin-like island surrounded by geysers. The tablet began to glow as they approached, and green magic power poured into the geysers. They functioned like magic circles. The light particles began to rise like fireflies. The feeling of having your memory tested and then forcibly etched into it with knowledge. Hajime's group was used to this, and well, for Rimuru and the others, they didn't feel anything since they had mental attack nullification, but, someone groaned from behind them with shock and discomfort. When Hajime was about to say the name of the Age of God's magic flowing from his memory, the tree opened the branches that were surrounding the rhinestone and it started to expand. Hajime and the others wondered what was going on, but Rimuru reassured them that it wasn't dangerous. The shape of the tree started to change, particles of light illuminated the group, and in the end, it created a human face on the tree trunk. When it was finished, it was a woman's face, only from the shoulders up. When that form was complete, the woman opened her eyes, then, softly spoke. First of all, I would like to congratulate you. Obviously, you have had to overcome the trials of the other great labyrinths and mind this Liutilus Haltina labyrinth. We are deeply sorry for making you go through hard times by honoring our commitment. Apparently, this was recorded with the use of a tree as an intermediary. It must have been an alternate image of Oscar's female counterpart. Somehow she gave off a feeling of nobility and royal dignity, just like Liliana, and sometimes Rimuru and Chloe also showed the same dignity. Although that feeling could also come from the tree trunk, it radiated around her like hair, containing a strange beauty. However, this is also necessary. If you have made it through the labyrinth of other liberators, then you probably know our relationship with God, the drama of the past, and whatnot. It's happened now. So, I want you to understand the unshakable bond, the unwavering heart. I think you, who have come this far, must have understood something. It's about the strength of the heart as well as its weakness. I sincerely wish that it will support you in the future. But the God you guys talk about is dead, is what Rimuru thought as he continues to listen. Shay and the others were listening attentively, but Hajime was having an annoying expression. I may not know what will you use my evolution magic. You are free to use it as you please. However, stick to your bonds, and do not sink into its power. Hajime was now looking around nervously. He was looking for evidence of conquering this great labyrinth in every nook and cranny. He doesn't seem to want to hear this story. When he looked at the lithograph, he intended to take it out without permission. Maybe it was just imagination, but Liutilus seemed to be more urgent, although this is not possible when it is only a record. My Age of God's magic is evolution magic to allow the evolution of anything, power, to at least one level higher. That's based on acquired knowledge. However, strength is even more different. Hajime's eyes widened momentarily. The arm that was about to be placed on Donner was retracted, and his eyes were fixed on Liutilus. The true value of evolution magic was not brought up in his knowledge. Even Rimuru was a bit surprised to hear that Liutilus Haltina's magic was evolution type. It might be one of the strongest and most useful God's Age magic as of now, aside from creation magic orcas have. The group listened, and after the explanation, Hajime's group and the hero party were gulping when they also learned about the conceptual magic. Concept magic, as the name implies. Magic creates all the concepts that govern this world. However, this magic is not easily attainable unless there is all Age of God's magic. Because conceptual magic is made up of limitless wishes instead of theories. It was similar to Rimuru's creation Lord Ahura Mazda, which has the power to create almost anything, including skills, memories, souls, and matter. Even though it's a downgrade version, it was still a good magic considering that it can create concepts that govern the world. We, the 7 liberators, have been working for decades and can only create 3 concept magic. However, that's enough for us. But what would you guys need? As Liutilus spoke, the lithograph in the middle split in 2 and what looked like a bag fell out from inside. Hajime picked it up. An arrow is attached to a circular semi-transparent stone. On the back of it is the coat of arms of Liutilus Haltina. Apparently, it also serves as proof of conquest. Hajime looked at the thing without blinking to understand it, and Liutilus continued his explanation. Its name is Compass of the Guidance. The concept indicates the direction of the place to be searched. It will only lead to the desired location, anywhere. Anything, anywhere, whether hidden or even another world. The world that Liutilus said was the world where Eth was supposed to be hiding. Achieving all Age of Gods magic, if that's your goal, you can go anywhere. I wish you could move forward freely and find happiness in life. May the future bless you. They all fell silent since now they found a way to get back to their world. All it need was to obtain all God's Age magic and it will be finished. They are all silent until. Notice. All requirements have been met to awaken the individual Shizuku Yagashi. The voice of the world echoed to their surrounding. This is the voice of the world, Rimuru said, still confused about why can he heard that voice of the world, but his heart was racing and beating faster. His emotion was starting to flare up. While he was at it, everyone who heard the voice was surprised, even Hajime himself, who also heard it when he evolved into a saint. Starting the reawakening of the individual Shizuku Yagashi. After that announcement, Shizuku's body was covered in a white cocoon. And, as promised, I made it long. Haha. Up next. Reunion.